Okay, so I originally had plans to talk about something completely different this week, but something actually happened to my nana recently while she was at work, and that prompted me to talk about older women in the workplace and the stereotypes that come with that, and also, discrimination that comes with that too. I know obviously older women are not the only ones to be shunned at the workplace, but for today I just want to talk specifically about older women. Now, I'm going to start this podcast off by, first of all, just saying welcome to everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the first season of my podcast. I hope you guys enjoy. If you missed the first episode of my podcast, I'll link it in the description box down below, so you guys can go and check that out if you want to. And what I'm also going to quickly say is that I want to start off by just explaining what happened to my nana at work. What took place was something that actually really made me feel both angry and upset. My nana works in retail, and she has done for many, many years, and she actually works in the same place as my mum, but they just work on different departments. And so, my nana is a person who, God bless her, she has always been a worker. She's worked so hard, and just bless her. And she works on the deli actually, so she deals with lots of meats and things like that, preparing the meat, all of that sort of stuff. And she was serving an older gentleman, and he was extremely, what I think anyway, very disrespectful towards her. Bear in mind, my nana is getting on. She is 70-year-old, and myself and my mum have been telling her for a while that she should really just consider retirement, mainly just because her health isn't the greatest, and we obviously just want her to enjoy the time that she has left. And yeah, that sounded grim, but you know what I mean. We wanted to chill, relax, things like that. And, we don't want her getting stressed at work. But yeah, this man actually asked my nana, my 70-odd-year-old nana, what the hell she was doing still in work at her age, and why she was still working. And this man, is a total stranger to my nana. She's never met him before in her life. So, for starters, for him to ask things like that and to say something like that was so extremely rude, considering that he doesn't know any of her circumstances. Bless my nan, she actually looks like butter wouldn't melt, the innocent, like, but really, she will stick up for herself if she feels like it is necessary. So she asked this guy if he was still at work, to which he replied that he was. And then my nana just basically said back to him, like, well, what's the problem then? Like, I'm still working, just like you're still working. What's the issue? And as far as I know, he never said anything else. And, that irritated me so much, you guys. And I do personally and honestly think that women, as they get older, they tend to be judged more for their age compared to older men. And I think that this goes back to what happens to women when they get older because they go through the menopause. And we can no longer have children, obviously, when we go through the menopause and we hit a certain age. A lot of men describe a woman going through the menopause as they're past their sell-by date. And first of all, that's a pretty disgusting thing to say about a woman. But it's things like that. And often men leave relationships with their partners when the woman begins to go through the menopause. And women change completely when they go through the menopause as well. And I know, of course, that certain things happen to men as they get older too, but I think that women are described as an older woman when they are much younger than men, when they are described as old men. And I hope that made sense, that little thing that I just said there. It made sense to me, but I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to get at here. And women go through menopause, they can go through it quite young as well. And I know women who went through the menopause in their early 40s, late 30s, you know, and I do think that discrimination against older women because of the menopause is a big thing, and more companies need to recognize that. And on top of that, many older women feel like they're being thrown out or forced out of the workplace because of their age, regardless of their capability job wise, to actually do the job that they've been doing for however long. And my mom has actually had similar experiences of younger men, specifically, actually, coming over to her at work and saying some really disgusting, discriminatory crap towards her, basically, because she's an older working woman. And this is something that's been going on for years and years and years with my mum and probably my nana as well. And obviously a lot of other people too. But the thing is, I'm not going to sit here and say like every single workplace is the same and every single workplace has some kind of ageism issue. But I think that it's more common than what perhaps a lot of people believe that it is. And so I actually looked online, I've been doing a bit of research, and I did find quite a few really interesting articles on this. And I'm gonna, show you guys some today. I'm gonna quote some for you guys. And if you want to read any of these articles in more detail, then they will be linked in the description box down below, as I always do with all of my sources. Okay, so the first article I actually want to bring up is by the Harvard Business Review, and it is from 2016, and it talks about how older women are being forced out of the workforce. And bottom line is it goes through a few examples of different women around about the same age who felt as though they were being discriminated because of their age. So one little section here says, at the age of 64, Jane had worked as a bartender at a neighbourhood bar for more than a decade. The bar was being sold, however, and the buyers told Jane that she was too old to be a bartender, disparaging her age and gender in front of other employees and customers before the sale was finalised. They did not keep her on and instead hired significantly younger women. And I honestly think that that kind of behaviour from companies, no matter how big or small the companies are, it's just absolutely disgusting. Because it's as if, women hit a certain age and they're no good to work anymore. But there's people in this world, like my mum and my nana, who are getting older, but they do still want to work and they want to give things to society, and society is not letting them. And it's absolutely ridiculous. So the article actually carries on a little bit, and this article is very, very interesting. So I would definitely recommend you go and give it a read if you're interested. But the article carries on a little bit later, and it goes on to say the researchers created 40,000 job applications for fictional job seekers and submitted them to a variety of online job postings. They made resumes for older applicants ages 64 to 66, middle-aged applicants 49 to 51, and younger applicants 29 to 31. After monitoring employees' responses to these dummy applications, the researchers concluded that the evidence shows it is more difficult for older female workers to find jobs. For example, the authors reported that the callback rate for middle-aged female sales applicants was lower than for younger female applicants, while callback rates for middle-aged and young male applicants were similar. So again, there are a few figures in there. They did a little test and I found that was really, really, really interesting. And again, it goes back to the fact that I don't think that people realise that this is actually happening as frequently as it is. And this is something that we definitely need to look into, and this is something that definitely needs more media attention, and we need to sort this out. We need to respect the older generation who are still in work and still want to work and are still working hard in their jobs as well. So moving on actually now to a different article. This is by The Telegraph, and this focuses more on the menopause and menopause discrimination. And it speaks about how it's a real thing and how bosses need to get involved with this and stop it from happening. And the article is actually from 2017. And it begins, the opening sentence is, try mentioning the word menopause at work, and it is likely to stun people into silence or cause an embarrassing giggle at a hormonal woman's expense. The most many employers offer to their menopausal women in the workplace are fans, but is this enough? That is the opening paragraph. And it is I think it's quite powerful, to be honest, that little opening paragraph, because this is the thing. People who don't suffer from the menopause, so men, they don't understand it and they don't see it as a real issue, and they don't understand how it affects the woman and how women change once they start going through the menopause. And actually, when you carry on into the article, the next paragraph here says menopause is a normal life event for women, and so it is not an illness or a medical condition. This often means that the symptoms of the menopause are too often under-recognized, undervalued, and not taken seriously. And that is 100% true. I know women who have gone through the menopause, my nana, my mum, and they totally change. Their self-confidence is at an all-time low. They have no self-esteem, they're very anxious, they can get quite depressive as well, and it really, really deeply affects a woman in ways that no man could ever believe. And a lot of workplaces do not respect women who are going through the menopause, older women who want to still work, but they're trying to balance out the changes that their body is going through. And this article really does talk in depth about the symptoms of the menopause and trying to juggle menopause and working. The last little paragraph from the Telegraph article on this that I'm going to read for you for today is this little section here, and it says, around 3.5 million women aged over 50 years are currently in employment in the UK. Studies have shown that at least 50% of women have reported finding work somewhat or fairly difficult due to their symptoms of menopause. Around 10% of women have actually given up work altogether as a result of their symptoms. So that is something that I think we really need to be looking into a lot more, and we need to figure out ways that companies and employers can really support women going through the menopause. Now, I'm actually going to end this podcast here. There are loads of other really interesting articles on the menopause and older women and how they're being treated in the workplace. And so go and do a bit of research yourself if you're interested. But what do you guys think? Are you an older woman who has gone through the menopause? And how were you treated in the workplace? Did work treat you unfairly, do you think? Or did work actually be quite supportive of you? Let me know your thoughts and experiences on this in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for listening. My other podcast will be in the description box down below. It will be linked for you guys, so go and check it out. Thanks a lot for watching, or rather listening, and I hope to see you guys in my next video.